We
What's
is
up?
back. Your boy Ice Cold Dre the gang.
And Lady Esquire.
And we are
Legally loaded. This is going to be a habit.
Exactly.
It's like we show up every week.
Exactly.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Yo, we got a lot of knowledge for our listeners this week.
We do.
And we are on episode 4.
Just like that.
Just like that.
It happened so fast.
Exactly.
But let's just take a minute to, I don't know, kind of reflect. So, have you been hearing from any of our listeners about, like, how are they feeling about
so
the
basically,
previous shows?
Right. So basically, there's a lot of feedback on the Nolan case, and there's a lot of feedback on Stop and Identify. Because a lot of people are saying that, they heard what you said, right?
Yeah.
But, we being who we are, it's like she knows, but she doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm going
right.
to listen to Google University. So you that's listening to Google University, you're going to prison. You're going to jail.
Can we establish right now that if Google University was a real thing, that I'm qualified to be the dean of the university? And soon, you will be qualified to be the assistant dean.
How about that?
Soon, because you're
How
like
about
a
that?
dean in training.
Right.
You know what, though? It's fair to
So
say,
if I'm the dean in training, right?
yes.
What does that make Nappy?
Oh, he runs detention.
Oh, he can run the detention
He
center.
runs where we send the back is at Walt Listen.
Right.
He runs detention.
Exactly.
That's it. Go to Mr. Nappy's office.
How about that?
And don't come back out
Right.
until you're ready to listen.
And Nappy's classroom could have monitors. Tay Boogie, Links on the Move,
Oh my God.
Heezy,
That is
and Brown Sugar could be the lady with the
the
ruler.
I'm dead. Right, I'm dead right now. So the feedback, let's wrap back around to that feedback.
Okay.
So, I asked around a little bit and I heard that some of the topics, some of the things we're saying are making people feel like it's a little bit controversial, and maybe making them, triggering them, making them think about stuff. Like sometimes they like me, sometimes they like you. It just depends on the situation because it depends on how they're feeling, right? And I think that I'm super excited about that.
How about
because
this one?
that's what we're here for.
But I got one that's even better than that.
What's up?
Somebody said, Dre, are you a lawyer? No, I'm not.
How about that?
How about that?
But you can still be knowledgeable and have a full understanding.
I'm not an attorney.
Right. Sometimes I think too that people forget. Okay, let me back that up. When you have a professional degree or something that you have to have a license to do, such as being an attorney, our people often think that people like me think that we're better than everybody else because we've got this degree, and they don't have maybe the understanding yet that we do, and so they feel like, oh, you're just trying to talk down to me. I can figure this out myself. I can defend myself.
You can't do that.
And here's what I would say, is before I went to law school, because I didn't go to law school until I was in my 40s. I went back to college in my late 30s and went straight through and then did law school in my 40s. I was 43 when I got my law license.
Really?
Yes. So before that, though, I was just like a regular law-abiding citizen, and I thought I have a pretty good understanding of the law. And, when I'm out here, I know what I'm doing, so why can't I go learn this and be able to defend other people? And what I found out when I got to law school is I didn't know what I was doing at all. I didn't have the understanding that I thought I did because there's so many things happening behind the scenes. And there's so many just things that we just don't even know that are never even revealed to us, which is why we're doing a show like this, right? So, and secondly, that it's not that anyone who has these professional licenses is trying to be condescending or look down or make anyone feel less than. Because my personal position is, whatever you do it like you're doing it for TV, and I respect your craft. And
Right.
I mean that all the way down to when I go to Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
If my coffee is messed up, I'm holding you accountable. You're the barista. Don't explain to me why it didn't turn out the right way. If
Right.
I asked you to order it a certain way and you knew that wasn't going to work, you should have told me that. This is your area of
Right.
expertise.
Right.
And I respect your area
Right.
of expertise. So, and when I have a medical problem, I go to the doctor. I don't try to figure it out myself because I can.
Right.
I go to the doctor. That's his area of expertise. If I need to find somebody that knows how to produce a show, I'm going to Nappy.
Right.
That's what he does. That's his
Right.
area of expertise, and I'm not going to tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about because I can look it up on Google. No, that's what he does, and I respect that. So for all of our listeners, I need them to know too. Like, I respect where you guys are coming from, even if it means that you have to call in during the show, get on chat, and say, hey, you guys know what? Have you thought about it from this perspective? Because I work in the medical field, or I work in a coroner's office, or I work for a police department, or I work, or I had this happen in my family. Share that information because we respect where you're coming from. And that helps us
Right.
to pick these things apart and to help teach.
So, this is my thing, right? Tell them why they should not go to Google University or YouTube.
Because that's not a law school.
Right.
But because even when you're asking the questions in an AI setting, it's all about how the question gets asked. And if you're not asking it, if you're asking it one way, you're gonna get the answer the way you want it. If you say, hey, do I have to give my driver's license to a police officer when they pull me over? Google's gonna say no, because every once in a while there's that certain circumstance where you don't have to do it, right? Maybe you're the person in the car, maybe you were the passenger, so there is that slight chance you don't have to. So they're not gonna give you an absolute yes, because Google's not gonna say, if you're driving the car, yes, you must. Now, if I Googled that information because my brain is trained to look for accurate legal knowledge,
Right.
I would be much more specific in how I'm Googling, and I would say, if I am the driver of a vehicle and a police officer pulls me over and asks me for my identification, must I provide it under the law? See how I said that question a little differently. I'm looking for the same information that you were, but because of the way I worded the question, I'm going to get a much stronger, more accurate answer. And that's part of what we do on Legally Loaded too, is we're loading you with that kind of information to teach you how to find what you need and find more accurate information that will hold you up until you need to get to someone who has a professional
We're teaching you to be a little smarter.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder.
Right, because y'all see the bracelets on her arm? They're not putting these on you.
They're not cute like that?
No, they're not cute like that.
Oh, got it.
Nah, now I was in Walmart the other day, right?
Yeah.
And this lady walked by. She was a police officer, and she had pink handcuffs.
Okay. I mean, maybe she's trying
So
to
they're jazzing them up a little
relate.
bit.
Yeah. You're trying to
From
this isn't as traumatizing.
from platinum to the black ones. Now they have pink ones.
That's what's up. So, the moral of that story is, if you're planning on committing any crimes at Walmart, wear pink so the handcuffs will complement your outfit.
Right, or even black.
Or even
White.
black. Yeah. Don't go with like green
Yeah, green.
or orange. It's not going to go with
Purple.
pink.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, let's get serious. Today's show, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We are going to talk about another tragic
This is not right.
death of a young black man that happened in July. Tyron Johnson. We're going to talk about that. He was killed by National Guard soldiers in Memphis.
Yes.
And you're going to find out that when we get to talking about that, he is not the only one.
That they did this to.
Recently.
Right.
Right? We can easily say he's not the only one because we know that this is historical.
Right.
But there's something going on.
Yeah, he's not the only one
Right.
recently.
And then the second thing we're gonna do is when we have today's tea, we're gonna have a special guest. Yeah, surprise.
Surprise.
Her name is Miranda, and we're bringing her to the party today.
Isn't that something?
That's crazy, right?
Hi, Miranda.
Hi, Miranda. So Miranda's gonna be here, and we're gonna talk about how she gets invited to the party,
Okay.
and whether and when she actually has to show up, and when it's cool for Miranda to stay home for the night.
Right.
So,
Shout out to Miranda.
shout out to Miranda for agreeing to be our special guest
Exactly.
this week. So let's just give like a quick overview of what this Tyron Johnson case is about before we have to take a break. That way the listeners can be kind of letting that saute until we come back.
So the thing is with this case, right? I think what happened to him by the National Guard, right? Like, this is my situation, and I need to ask you this question before I tell you what I think, right?
Okay.
So the question is, why did this happen the way how it happened?
So let's just clarify what happened.
In your opinion?
Yeah. So Tyron Johnson, he was in Memphis,
Yes.
right? And there was an incident with the with Memphis police,
Right.
and they are claiming that when they were trying to interact with Tyron Johnson for a lawful reason, for a lawful, not unlawful, for a lawful reason, that he ran from the National Guard soldiers and that he then turned towards them with a handgun. And so the claim is that this happened because he was fleeing when they were trying to do some sort of investigation, and he pulled a gun on some type of officers. I'm saying some type because they were National Guard, not police agency, not so-and-so. But all of those are allegations, and what I'm gonna say is, right now today, while we're discussing this, there's no proof that there was a handgun and or that he ran from them. So I don't have a real answer for why this actually happened. I'm just selling it like I bought it. This is what they're telling us.
All right. So my question is now, we know what's going on with the Nolan case, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to hide that, right?
Yes.
But you can't hide that because there's a body and it's missing.
Yeah.
And it was missing until they found it
On the shore.
on the shore. So now the National Guard, they killed some kid. Well, not some kid. They killed Tyron, right?
Right.
And they're saying he ran from them and he had a handgun, right?
Yes.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
right?
Yeah.
So where was the cameras at when this happened?
So, I'm glad you asked that because that's what we're going to come back to, because fortunately in Tyron's case, just as what we talked about in Nolan's case,
Right.
the family is asking the right questions and handling this the right way. And Tyron's grandfather is a former correctional officer and knew his grandson well.
Right.
And so he is asking the exact same questions and saying, show me the video.
I need to see it.
I need to see it. We know it's out there somewhere.
Exactly.
And it hasn't surfaced yet. But that doesn't mean it won't.
Right.
Just there's timelines for that can be used to the other side's advantage to delay us getting information. And we're just going to talk about that on a real note too today.
Yeah.
So, but the questions are being asked, and hopefully eventually we're going to get those answers.
Because this world is going to come to an end slowly. Because there's a lot of things going on with the war.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
They're told to serve and protect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
they're doing a lot of protecting by killing,
right.
right?
So we're going to be back in just a few minutes. take a second, look up this case on Tyron Johnson out of Memphis, Tennessee, see what you find on it, so that when we come back, you can be on the same page as us with this information, and we are
legally loaded.
The bullet started above the couch and followed her down the hallway. 13 shots fired. Not one hit her. After foster care, abandonment, assault, and homelessness, she should have been broken. But God preserved her. You're Not My Real Dad is more than a book. It's proof that pain doesn't get the final word. Healing starts here. Available now on Amazon.
We are back.
We are back.
Ice Cold Dre the Gang.
Lady Esquire.
And we are
Legally Loaded. And this is episode 4.
Yes.
And when we left for the break, we were talking about the tragedy of this Tyron Johnson case out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
We also, we cannot overlook the fact that our young people keep getting killed by different agencies, and there's always an excuse for it. And this incident was also around 4th of July. It was during 4th of July weekend, just like the Nolan Wells disappearance case. But this one is that there was an interaction with the Tennessee National Guard soldiers.
Right.
And those soldiers were part of a federal crime fighting task force that was deployed to the city.
So
now let's just say too though that we'll let you do your own deduction about who deployed them.
Really no. So this is the thing, right? You guys, the National Guard was called to Memphis for a certain reason, right? So they see this young black man, and he sees them, and he's trying to avoid them. So he goes the other way and he starts running. So they track him down, and they say he had a handgun, so we had to shoot him.
Right.
So you're not taking that into consideration of he's trying to get out of y'all way? Because y'all could have radioed somebody and said, hey, there's a young black man running. Please stop him and talk to him.
Right. And not only that, there are people who carry handguns, and it's legal for them to do it.
Exactly.
And so the fact that if he had a handgun that day,
because it's not proven,
doesn't automatically make it that he was doing something.
Because they haven't presented the handgun.
And they haven't presented any videos, right?
Nothing.
We do know, though, that his grandfather said that he was a licensed carrier, and that he had recently become a licensed carrier for his own safety because he had
got jumped.
Exactly.
Right.
So he could have had a handgun on him.
Right.
And he could have been carrying it completely under the letter of the law.
Right.
And doing everything that he was supposed to, because let me tell you something else we haven't heard anything about when it comes to Tyron Johnson. I haven't heard anything about him being a young man who was in trouble.
Right.
Who had any criminal record.
Right.
In fact, he was a college student.
Yes, he was.
A father.
Yes, he was.
And was carrying that gun only after having been jumped and deciding that this was something he needed to do for his own safety.
But was his grandfather or his father?
Grandfather.
His grandfather is saying, show me the video.
As he should. As he should. And let me say, too, that from a legal standpoint, I'm not saying as he should with regard to showing the video because I've made up my mind that the officers were wrong or that Tyron was wrong. What I'm saying is the video is a tool that we now have.
Right.
That will give us definitive answers about some things.
Right.
So show me the video.
I need to see it.
Instead of us all being out here guessing what's happening, or instead of the media being able to direct the narrative the way that they want to, and then lead us down a path to believe that things happened in a certain way, we have access to the videos these days in most of these situations. So show me the facts.
Right.
And then let me make my decisions based on the facts. But many times law enforcement agencies, government agencies, they don't want to show us the video because if the facts are tilted in our favor, it's not helpful to them.
Right. So this is the thing, right? And I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
Okay. This is the thing. The thing is, it's the National Guard, right?
Yes.
And they killed this man, and nothing's gonna happen to them because they are the National Guard. Nothing's gonna happen to them. The family may be able to sue,
Perhaps.
but
Criminal
suing-
charges.
criminal charges, it'll never happen.
You know what?
Only
Without-
thing I can see that can happen is a life was lost. Money can't bring the life back. They're gonna make that family comfortable as they can
to make them be quiet.
to make them be quiet because there is no video. And the thing, and the reason for I'm saying there is no video, I believe there is no video because they're the National Guard and they know how to delete things. They know how. They have people in places that can attach into that security camera where it happened at.
That whole Big Brother concept.
You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, listen, I'm sending my condolences to the family, but this is one that Trump will not let surface because they are the National Guard and he sent them there.
I think you're right that there's never going to be criminal charges in this case. I think you're
Not at all.
absolutely right. Now,
And then we go out there protesting and all this kind of stuff, doing what we think is the right thing to do. A lot of people is going to get hurt,
and other lives may be
and
lost.
other lives may be lost behind it. This is just my opinion.
Yeah, and so let me back up for a minute too. Like you said, they're the National Guard. They can make the video disappear. I'm not a big person on conspiracy theories. However, I am big on finding explanations for things.
Mhm.
So I might believe the same thing happened that the conspiracy person believes happened, but I might believe that it came about in a different path than they do. I'm not dismissing the final result or saying that so let me come back to that. Like I mentioned, the Big Brother situation. Big Brother's a real thing in the sense that, hey, look, we got cameras on every corner. We got cameras on every business. We got Ring doorbells. We got cameras. Body cams on police officers, dash cams on their vehicles, dash cams in our own cars. I mean, cameras are everywhere.
We have it all.
We have it all. Let me tell you where we don't have them. Just recently, the courts have started to require that ICE agents wear body cams, and there's a delay in that happening. They're stalling. So there's a lot of situations going on with ICE where there is no body cam, and the only camera footage that we're getting is a bystander who's recording, like that Minnesota situation where the young lady was shot in her car. Had there not been a bystander recording, a regular citizen recording, we would have never known the truth or never had that information to decide for ourselves. And from my understanding, I don't think that it's standard protocol for soldiers
Right.
to wear body cams. So now when we're saying this is the National Guard that was deployed out, they probably didn't have body cams on. So if there is a video, it had to come from another source.
Right.
So the questions would be, what was the exact location that this incident occurred? Were there businesses nearby that had body cams? Was it near a major traffic intersection that, not body cams, but business cams? Was it near an intersection where maybe there was traffic cameras? Is there somebody out there that recorded it or saw it happen, and that just hasn't come out yet because they're afraid to come forward because of the climate that we're living in?
So,
But there's a chance that there is no video.
Right.
And I'm almost certain that there's no video on the National Guard soldiers?
How about this, right? So, I've been digging into cameras anyway, right?
Yeah.
And I've been watching a lot of different camera videos and all of this stuff. There are no direct cameras on military bases.
On the bases?
When there is some kind of a bombing going on, right?
Yeah.
That camera is so far. That's why it looks distorted.
That's wild. So, and I 100% believe you on it. So
That's why it
tell
looks
our
distorted.
listeners, how'd you come across that information?
I had to like play around and
Keep digging.
keep digging and digging and digging.
Yeah.
So the thing is, right, anything, like all of the bombings that's going on, right? The cameras is so far away from the bombings. That's why when they put it on our news channels and all of this stuff,
It always looks far away.
it looks far away.
The drones.
Right. That's the only
The
way.
drone cameras.
That's it. There are no cameras. And the
And
reason
you know-
for that,
Yeah.
data breach.
I was gonna say,
That's
you
the
know, I'm
reason-
always gonna hit you with the devil's advocate, and in situations where we are at war, the last thing we want is for someone to
Be
hack
able-
into our system
And
and
watch.
be able to watch, be able to listen to our strategic planning
Right.
and all that type of stuff. So I guess that makes a lot of sense to me.
Even
But just something that we didn't think about on a day-to-day. We just assume there's cameras everywhere now.
even when like submarines, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are being tracked because of a satellite. That's the only way. It's like a plane.
Yeah, yeah,
Satellite.
yeah.
The only thing that makes it different is if something happens on the plane has hidden cameras that you can't see.
Okay, dropping knowledge over here.
So
That's
you
scary.
You can't see these cameras because it's not meant for you to see them, and you walk by them.
Got you.
So that's how they can say. That's how a lot of times they'll say, "Well, we got a video from somebody who filmed, right?" And then they'll drop that video and turn around and drop another video and say, "Yeah, we just got this video too."
Where'd you find the second one?
Aha. See?
Something's very fishy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we learned, me and Nappy had learned that those, what are those cameras called, bro? Flock cameras. They are everywhere, and it's crazy that they're everywhere too. It's scary. But there are no flock cameras for Nolan. There are no flock cameras for Tyron.
Wow.
I don't get it. Flock cameras. All right, listen. You ever watch these shows where you want to know how they're able to track, well, the car went this way, or the car made a turn this way, and the car made a turn this way, and this is before police get involved.
Yes.
So,
I know how they know, but continue.
but this is what I'm saying. Like, this is before the police even get involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of a sudden, how they know the police? How the police know to come here? This is why flock cameras.
There are cameras falling right into that category that are out here attached to vehicles on the road, on the highways.
Like mine.
But cameras that are government-owned cameras that are feeding into the satellites and things like this, and they can actually say, I know that Dre was in such and such a location when he was, because we went into our camera database and ran his license plate number, and it pulled for us every place that one of our cameras that he hit on it. And that's how they can tell that you weren't where you said you were when you're trying to give an alibi. It's not even just the GPS on your phone anymore, because you could turn your phone off and the GPS wouldn't be working. But now they can just get a picture of your car, a description of your car, your license plate, and say run it, and they can tell you everywhere you went.
So
Not
here's-
every turn that you
so here's
made,
the
but
thing.
every area you were in.
when you buy a brand new vehicle
Oh, they know everywhere that thing
and
goes.
it comes with OnStar, when you turn your car on and you leave your driveway, they know exactly where you are at all times.
Absolutely. And your car has a little black box, just like a plane,
Yes,
just like it. Yeah.
yes.
So here we go down the rabbit hole. Let's reel ourselves back in. With the situation with Tyron in Tennessee, we're getting ready to kind of shift and talk about why this is such a, not just because someone lost their life, because that's a big enough deal, but the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation data has actually shown that at least 4 black men have died in shootings
Yes.
by officers
Yes.
tied to this specific
Yes.
federal task force
Yes.
within a 2-month span.
Yes.
So we have lost 4 black men within 8 weeks
Both.
at the hands
Both.
of the exact same specific federal task
Mhm.
force. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that,
Yes.
and then
Our special guest.
our special guest is going to be coming, Miranda.
Yes, Miranda.
Miranda's going to drop in,
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about what she does for a living.
exactly.
All right, so we are legally loaded, and we'll be
We'll
right
be back.
back.
2026, artists and brands are stuck fighting algorithms on platforms that make more money with your content than you. The ServiceStation.tv was built to change that. It's a 24/7 broadcast platform where music videos, podcasts, interviews, and behind-the-scenes content all live in one place, but it's not one way. Creators submit their own content, go live, comment, and react in real time, and get featured on air next to major names. It runs like real TV, a now playing and up next lineup, an on-air schedule, live reactions, but built as a community, not a broadcast. This is your stage to get seen, get heard, and promote yourself alongside the biggest names in the industry. Executive produced by super producer Self, a Grammy-nominated producer with 25+ platinum records. Submit your content and watch live at the Service Station.
Yes, we are back, and we are.
Legally loaded,
I am Ice Cold Trey the Game.
and I am Lady Esquire.
Okay.
All right, so so we were talking about how in Tennessee recently, within the last 2 months, we've had at least 4 young black men die in shootings at the hands of a specific federal task force.
Right.
So what's crazy about that is there's a report out there that, quite frankly, until I start digging into this case for us to talk about it, I hadn't heard of this report. The ACLU's 2026 7 states report. And that report investigated the Memphis Police Department following a previous murder of a young man named Tyree Nichols. You remember that name?
Yes, I do.
Whew. So, because of Tyree Nichols' situation, they investigated the Memphis Police Department and the Department of Justice. Department of Justice actually came through on this one. The Department of Justice found that the Memphis PD was systematically targeting black drivers for traffic stops. So they came through and they held it down on that investigation, and
Right.
they did what was right. In addition to that,
sorry. Hold on.
Go ahead. Yes, thank you, Department of Justice. That's what's up. In addition to that, they found that overstaffed black communities were routinely disregarded with their constitutional limits on its authority.
Right.
Now, something else that was really wild, and I want to make sure I have this right, but the city, after that report came out, the city went and passed their own law to back this up. It's called an ordinance. So that's your local law is an ordinance. State laws are statutes, local laws are ordinances. So they passed a law basically saying like that the police can't pull you over merely because you have a broken tail light or merely because there's a light out on your license plate. There was some really little tiny reasons that they usually would use as probable cause
So, but that's only in
the city of Memphis.
Okay.
However,
We need to get that out there
it is.
because we don't want people
Wait a minute.
hearing us saying, "No, you guys said this."
Well, and on top of that, even though the city stepped to the plate, so we had the Department of Justice step to the plate, the city stepped to the plate. After that, the predominantly Republican state legislature overruled that city law and it went right back to the way it was. So even though the Department of Justice did their thing, the city council members and all the authorities and leadership there did their thing. They then got overruled at the state level. And because we were dealing with a very conservative state, they were not interested in protecting people's rights or going to that level to protect people's rights. So just like we applaud Department of Justice, we applaud the city. Good job. Trying your best to enforce. But just that quick, survival of the fittest type of thing, the bigger dog took over. And we're right back to where we started at. Except for the fact that we have proof that we know we were right.
Right.
So that means that now that we're right back to where we started from, and we have proof that we know that we were right, that stings even more. And that's where we're at with that. So
Yo, we can't win.
we
man.
can't win for losing,
Like,
man.
We can't win, man.
And it's crazy because, like we mentioned earlier, Tyron Johnson had no criminal record. He was a college student, was a father,
Mhm.
and now he's gone. He's gone. And this city's police department was intentionally targeting black drivers. And then here comes National Guard troops. They're combat trained. National Guard troops are not trained to be compassionate. They're
No.
there to do a job.
They're-
They're there for combat.
Combat
So
only.
you can't send them in to do the serve and protect and expect them to just switch off their combat training and serve and protect.
Oh, it's not gonna happen.
They're coming in hard.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Like,
they coming in hot and they gonna do what they gotta
they
do.
walk the streets with M16s.
They absolutely do.
They're not playing with you at all.
Yeah.
At all. I remember when New York was at a state of emergency and they had the National Guard at the airports on the corners like police would be.
Yeah.
And they had this look in their face like, I wish you would.
Yeah. And for us as Americans, we're not accustomed to that, right?
Right.
If you've ever have had the opportunity to travel out of the country, that's probably the first place that you ever saw soldiers walking around out in public with
Right.
assault rifles
Right.
and everything else. I know I had to go to Africa and I got off my plane in Africa and was like, what are we really doing and can I get back on? Like, why are there soldiers in the airport? And it is very common in a lot of other countries.
Yeah. When I went to DR, it was so bad. We took a tour, and they at schools, standing in front of the schools with M16s. Like,
That's wild.
I wish you would.
And y'all thought you had it bad because you had to go through the metal detector in New York. Bruh. Like, oh, they upped the game. They've upped the game.
Good luck. When I tell you it's serious, it's serious.
It's very serious. And this is exactly why we're telling you that you gotta know your rights. You gotta know your rights, and you've gotta know how to move when you feel that your rights are being violated, because the people who you think are violating your rights, and they very well could be. They may or may not be. We don't know. Every situation is different. But those people that you're dealing with aren't playing by the same rules that you are. So you got to know your rights.
They wish you would.
Right. You got to know your rights, and you have to know what to do in those situations to live to fight another day, to live to go home to your family, and to live to go find an attorney and get some accurate legal advice for your state after whatever situation you're in. And it's insane that there's a population of people out here that we've got to be out here saying, guys, we're just trying to help you live.
Right.
We're just trying to help you live another day. No, we shouldn't have to live like that. It is messed up. It is really messed up. But this is the tool that we have that we can share with you to help you survive what we're all going through as a group.
Right.
So, so let's move on to something a little lighter.
Yes.
So,
yes. Our special guest?
Today's tea, we got a special guest.
We got a special guest. And her name is Miranda.
Miranda.
Welcome, Miranda, to the show.
Welcome, Miranda.
Welcome, Miranda, to the show.
Miranda. You know, Miranda, we've been waiting a long time to get Miranda on the show.
Right.
Because she's got to be one of the most popular girls on body cams.
Yes.
I mean, you can't, if you're a body cam junkie or you're watching body cams on YouTube and content creators with body cam, you're not making it through more than 2 or 3 episodes without you hearing about Miranda.
Right.
Because Miranda's the most popular girl. Everybody wants her there all the time.
And she's so popular, Miranda. She's so popular. Guess what?
What?
Only the people with badges could present Miranda to you.
You're right. You're right. I hadn't even thought about it like that. But like Miranda, she might even want to come to the party.
Right.
But she can't even come to the party unless the people with the badges. So basically, like, security has to let Miranda in.
Right.
Miranda is outside the club.
Chilling.
She outside.
Chilling.
And Miranda cannot get in unless security lets her in.
Exactly. And you know what's crazy?
What?
And Miranda always say, I wish you would.
I wish you would. Every trip.
Every trip.
And mean it.
And mean it.
And stand 10 toes down. Because
Yes.
if for whatever reason they were supposed to let her in the club and they didn't. We're gonna have it's a situation.
Definitely.
We're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a real problem. So if you haven't caught on yet to what we're talking about,
we are talking about
your Miranda rights. Your Miranda rights. And every day, not only do we see it on YouTube and other platforms, but the officers hear every day, you didn't read me my rights. You didn't read me my rights, so you can't do anything. And as an attorney, we hear it every day. If you're a criminal attorney, someone is calling you up saying, I know you could get this case dismissed because they didn't read me my rights. They had me in the backseat of a car and they did not read me my rights.
So, all right, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
So, once I'm detained, I'm supposed to be read my Miranda rights, right? I'm just saying, once they put the shackles on me and they're telling me I'm going to jail, they're supposed to read me my Miranda rights.
So let's...
Hold on.
Okay, wait, you got more.
So, the body cam shows they have not read me my Miranda rights, right? They put me in the back of the car. The body cam shows they have not read me my Miranda rights, right?
Yeah.
They take me in there, they fingerprint me and everything. They read me my Miranda rights.
After all of that.
After all of that. And I call you and say, hey, Miss Esquire.
Yeah.
This is what happened. You can get the body cam footage and everything. Everything I'm telling you is 100% truth.
Yep.
You get the body cam. Everything I told you was the truth.
The facts.
The facts.
The facts you gave me were the truth.
But I'm in jail waiting for you to do your thing, right?
Yeah. And you're trying to figure out why.
Exactly.
Why am I still sitting here?
Right.
And not only, I'm just going to add on to that because you've thought it and my clients have said it. Not only are you sitting in jail waiting to try to figure out why you're still there and they didn't read you your Miranda rights, because we kind of have this mentality that if you didn't read me my Miranda rights, I have a get out of jail free card. Not only that, but we also think I'm suing the police and I got big money coming because y'all messed up.
Yeah, we think
Y'all,
like that
y'all
too.
were supposed. Miranda had the VIP pass tonight, and y'all didn't let her in. And when I proved that she was supposed to get in, and you didn't let her in, this is big money. So not only that, but Miss Esquire, and can you take my case without any money down, because I got a big lawsuit coming against the police, and we all gonna be good after that.
Right.
Because they should have read me my rights, and I'm telling you the truth.
So what happens now?
Boom. So, first of all, let me go back to you said, I'm detained. I want you to tell me what you think, what does that mean to you, you're detained?
All right. So basically, detain can mean I'm detaining you until I find out who you are in my investigation.
Right.
Right? But if you're telling me I'm arrested, and no, if you're telling me I'm going to jail,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And you put me in the back of the car, that means I'm going to jail. Detain means it's not 100% chance that I'm going to jail, because until they run me and find out what's going on with me, and it could come back and say, you good? I had to detain you and find out what's going on.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
But now that we figured that out,
Right.
I'm letting you go.
Exactly.
Okay. That is a really great explanation of it, but I wanna broaden that for you and our listeners.
Okay.
So at its very base, detained simply means you're not free to go. At the very base, it means you are not free to go, and that you, as this imaginary guy that's out there that the law calls the reasonable person, he's not real. It's just a guy they say is reasonable all the time that we learn about in law school and in law enforcement agency trainings. There is no real reasonable person. That guy never existed. But anyway, as a reasonable person, you believe that you're not free to go, as in something's intimidating you, making you believe you're not free to go. You don't have to have handcuffs on to be detained. When the officer
Really?
says, have a seat on that curb right there, Dre, and don't move, he can let you sit there with no handcuffs, right? And you might be saying in your mind, I'm bigger than him, I could take him, I could get up and move if I wanted to. Maybe you're not intimidated just yet, but his partner is standing behind you, watching you. That's enough to make you feel that you're really not free to go. This officer has said you're being detained, and this officer is helping him by watching you, because if you tried to get up and walk away, they would physically stop you, and that is your belief that they'd physically stop you. So, and there's some other ways we can be detained as well. So we're going to clarify that a little more when we come back from our break. But at its very core, you're detained if a law enforcement officer says you are not free to go. Just that simple.
That's crazy.
We'll be right back
Yeah.
with Legally Loaded.
Exactly.
The bullet started above the couch and followed her down the hallway. 13 shots fired. Not one hit her. After foster care, abandonment, assault, and homelessness, she should have been broken. But God preserved her. You're Not My Real Dad is more than a book. It's proof that pain doesn't get the final word. Healing starts here. Available now on Amazon.
We are back.
We're back again,
I am Ice Cold Dre the Game,
and I'm Lady Esquire.
and we are Legally Loaded.
So before the break, we were talking about Miranda
Yes.
and how Miranda gets what we call invited to the party. How Miranda can come to the cookout.
Right.
Bet. So, I was just thinking that the really cool thing about us having the technology that we have now is if you forget what we said, you can run it back.
Right.
You can run it back and listen to it again as
Right.
many times as you need to. So we're just going to say real quick, we discovered that being detained means what?
That you're not free to leave.
You're not free to leave.
Right.
And then a law enforcement person
Has to say
or
this to
some
you.
type of law enforcement officer
Right.
has said to you, you're not free to leave, or done something to make you believe you're not free to leave.
Right.
And in an extreme situation, just imagine, an officer pulls a gun. There's a video you sent me. We don't got time to go into it, but officer pulls a gun at a traffic stop and puts it to your head. There's no handcuffs on you. How about you just start the car and leave?
So how about this, right? This is my rebuttal. I'm in my vehicle. My hands are on the steering wheel. And you come.
And pull a gun. That's a different show. We can't go down. We can't make that left right now because
Alright.
we don't have enough.
So
time.
let's stay where
But
we
so-
are about the Miranda rights, and I call you.
But answer my question for me. Officer pulls a gun, but you're not in handcuffs. You're still in your car. You have to make a decision of a reasonable person. Are you free to leave? Do you believe you're free to leave?
Nah.
So you're detained.
Right.
You're not under arrest.
I'm just detained.
You're not in handcuffs.
Not at all.
You're detained though.
Right.
Okay. And not only that, but because we look at it from a reasonable person aspect, that means that can change from person to person, and something that all the time, I'm going to say 95% of the time gets overlooked, is that what a child believes makes them detained is different than what you and I believe, because a child has a different view of authority and what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. And that is something that is really, really, really important, parents. When you have a child that gets caught up in a situation with the police, you need to be thinking about what could that child have been thinking. Did they believe they were detained when they were spilling their guts and telling that information? And you need to be bringing that up to your attorney, for your attorney to check into it. Because if your attorney determines that it's reasonable for that child to have believed that they were detained, their rights might have been violated. So I just want to put that out there.
All right. So let's go back to the question that I asked you.
Which was?
And the question was, will you represent me if I told you the truth and I asked you to get the body cam and you get the body cam and it shows?
That you told me the truth.
Yes. And why am I still sitting in jail?
And the answer is to whether or not I would. First of all, if you told me the truth, I probably will represent you because I like a truthful client.
Right.
Will I represent you? Will my opinion of the case be the same as yours? Will my analysis be the same? That depends question.
Right.
Because you're telling me they didn't read you your rights, you're in the back of the car, and you went to jail. So now I need to ask you, because there's a 2-part test to decide if your Miranda rights have to be read. One, you have to be in custody or be detained. You're not free to leave or you've gotten arrested. 2, the next part is there has to be an interrogation by a law enforcement officer, not by the guy who's standing on the side of the road videoing, asking you questions, not by the CPS worker that showed up because your kids were in the car, but by a law enforcement agent. They have to be the ones questioning you. And so the biggest example that I can give you that I see all the time is people get put in the back of the car, they're detained. All right, Dre, we're gonna put you in the back of the car while we see what's going on here. When we get everything sorted out, we're gonna let you know. And so you're in the back of the car and you're not even in handcuffs. But you are detained because you can't open the back door and you can't get out. So you're not free to leave. Let's just be clear about that. So you're in the back seat, and while you're in there, there's nobody in the car with you. The officers are outside investigating.
No, there's a camera in that car.
There is a camera in that car, and let me tell you what.
And it's taping whatever you say.
And you're talking to yourself.
Right.
Because you're upset.
Right.
So you're talking to yourself about what's going on. Or you still got your phone on you, and you've called your brother, and you're talking to him. and you're telling him, hey, yo, man, they done pull me over, and you know what I got in the trunk. Da, 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 da. You're trying to be slick about what you're saying and not be specific, but
And they lining you up.
they're lining you up. And here's the thing. Now you're going to say later, they didn't read me my Miranda rights, so they can't use that statement. Well, guess what?
They can.
They didn't ask you.
Right.
They didn't ask you anything. You told it all. You volunteered it all. It's called a spontaneous utterance or a statement against your own interest. Nobody asked you any questions. No one was interrogating you. You were in the back seat of the car, detained, not even arrested yet, and interrogating yourself. And in that moment, they didn't violate your rights because they never had to read you your Miranda rights if they weren't interrogating you. Most of the time, not all of the time, because your rights, people's rights do get violated on this regularly, but most of the time, if you think about what you have seen in those videos, they're in the back seat, they're talking to themselves, we're all watching the video like this fool back there talking to themselves, and then the officer comes back and opens the door and he says, hey Dre, I got a few questions for you. And you're like, all right, and he goes, hang on, there's something I gotta read you before I ask you questions because you're in custody right now, or you're detained right now, and they pull out a card and they read it. Most of the time they push through that, like fast forward because it's taking up our time, and then they start asking you questions. That's because they know they've had you in custody and now they have a reason to ask you questions. They're starting an interrogation and now Miranda has to show up to the party. So, as my husband says, and I hate to use it, 9 times out of 10, Miranda doesn't even have to be there on the side of the road because they weren't interrogating you, or they took you back to the police station and sat you in an interrogation room and walked away and left you there for 4 hours.
I'm going to sleep.
But a lot of
I'm
people
not
aren't.
talking.
A
I'm
lot of
going to
people
sleep.
are still talking and they're watching you
Yeah.
and they're listening and they haven't asked you a single question
Right.
because they're not even in there.
Right.
They don't have to give you your Miranda rights. No one's interrogating you. So for your Miranda rights to kick in every time, 2 things have to happen. You have to be detained or in custody. So you're not free to leave. And a law enforcement agent has to be questioning you. The questions have to be coming from them. Not Joe, not Bobby, but the law enforcement officer. And when those 2 things happen, Miranda instantly gets a VIP pass to the party. And she gets to come in. And in those situations, if those 2 things are happening and no one read you your rights or no one invited Miranda in, didn't let her pass security, now we have a problem. And now we're trying to get your statements thrown out. Now I'm ready to take that case and see what we can do to see if I can represent you because your rights might have been violated. So the very, very bottom line with all of that is that you have to be in custody or not free to go. And that has to be a fair assessment on your part, not just every time that you want out of this, you say, well, I didn't feel like I was free to go. No, that is not what I said today. That is not what I said.
Right.
I said if you have a reasonable belief that you were not free to go.
Right.
And then secondly, you have to be being interrogated by law enforcement. So that's how Miranda gets to the party.
Exactly.
Let's recap for today.
Okay.
What did we talk about? We talked about
We talked about
Tyron Johnson
Tyron Johnson
and the National Guard
and
shooting,
National Guard shooting.
and that this has happened 4 times
Right.
at least in the last 2 months with this same
Right.
group. So
And
we need to keep our eye on that.
Exactly.
And we're still waiting for video.
Right.
And then
Right.
we talked about Miranda.
Miranda.
Miranda, we want to thank you for being with us
Exactly.
today.
Shout
For
out to
stopping by.
Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
And now that you know how to get Miranda invited to the party, y'all,
Use your mind.
use your mind and
Exactly.
get her invited.
You have
So another episode gone.
Too fast.
See you guys next week.
Exactly.
I'm Lady Esquire.
I'm Ice Cold Dre the Game.
And we are
legally
loaded.
loaded.